Hello and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be creating two looks with the newest palette from Terra Cosmetics. It is the Cosmic Wonder palette, and here's what she looks like. I will insert some swatches, close-ups, etc. There's 12 shadows in the palette, 5 duochrome shimmers, 6 mattes, and 1 satin matte with a sparkle. And the palette retails for $52, and I do have a non-affiliated code in case you're interested with Terra Moons. I will put it up on the screen. And this palette was gifted to me by Terra Moons, so thank you so much to Terra Moons for sending it over so I could do a video for you. So let's jump right into the two looks. First, dipping into Vega, I'm popping that right into the inner third of my crease. It's so vibrant, so pigmented, and it is blending like a dream. There's definitely quite a bit of kick up, which I usually don't mind as long as there's not too much fallout. I do see a little bit of fallout, however, but look at that. That took almost no effort. I do feel like it's sticking down a little bit in here. It could just be the primer. I don't usually have this experience with the Terra Moons matte shadows, but it has been a while since I used them. I'm trying to remember the last time I have. Taking Triangular on the outer corner to deepen it up. Just going to be kind of tapping it on first. And then I'm going to wipe off that brush as much as possible and just to feather out the edges. And then I'm going to take Electra, I'm going to pop that right above and blend it into the blue and in here as well. These are basically going to mix and create a really fun shade. Taking Triangular underneath my lower lash line just to connect, and then taking Vega underneath the rest of my lower lash line. Definitely super powdery, this shade in particular. I can kind of see it flying in front of my eye as I'm putting it down. Next, moving on to the shimmers, I am laying down some Fair & Pixie Epoxy, and I'm just popping that right across my lid and tapping it out. Picked up Terra on the 02 brush from Rougher, and it's going to go on the outer portion of my lid. I'm getting lots of fallout, I could tell when I pressed my brush into this. Ooh, so pretty though. And then on the inner portion, I think I'm going to take First Light. Oh, this is super loose in the pan. Probably going to get quite... Oh, wow. That is so beautiful. I have quite a bit of kick up in the pan. It's a little bit loose. Oh, that is so gorgeous. That looks like space on my lid. I'm also going to take a little bit of that and pop it onto my inner corner. And here's the first finished look. Put on a different eyeshadow primer on this side just in case it was the eyeshadow primer, and so I'm using the Too Faced Shadow Insurance on this eye. I use the Gimme Glow Parchment eyeshadow primer, so let's see how that works out. So I'm taking Alara, and I'm going to pop that right into the crease. I still feel like it's kind of sticking down. I'm not sure. Like something like right here. I'm not sure if it's translating on camera. And I'm going to go in with Gravity on the outer corner. Now this is, I think, the satin shade, which I don't think this is a satin. It has sparkles in it, but I wouldn't call it a satin because the sparkles kind of are going to just blend away for the most part. I do feel like these shades, these two shades I just put on, are very similar. I feel like they're kind of blending in together, and I can't even tell that there's almost two shades on. But I'm just going to blend this out again, wiping off my brush and feathering out the edges with that. Clean brush with some setting powder on it. And then I'm going to take the Fair & Pixie Epoxy as usual and just pop that almost all over the lid and then tap on it. Picking up Aurora with the Rougher 02 brush, and I'm going to put that right in the center of my lid. Just a little bit more, definitely a lot less fallout with this shade. And then on the inner portion, I'm going to go with Pleiades, I think that's how it's pronounced. which is just more blue versus green teal. And I'm going to go in with First Light as my inner corner highlight again. Just using my pinky for that. Taking Gravity underneath my lower lash line to connect. I really wanted to dip into Soleil, so I'm going to use that on the inner lower lash line. Taking it about halfway. Definitely got a little bit of fallout, and it is a little hard to wipe off, so it's kind of stained here a little bit. Here's the second finished look. So my first impressions on the palette, I have used lots and lots of Terra Moon's eyeshadows previously. I would say these are all on par with everything else I've tried from Terra Moon's. They do have a couple of different formulas of shimmers. There's some smoother ones, there's some flakier ones. First Light is definitely flakier. I think you can kind of see it in the pan too. So that one you have to be very careful picking it up. I really do like the color story. However, I wish there was like one mid-tone purple in here, maybe instead of all these kinds of green, teal, aqua shades up here. I think it would just add a little bit more variety in here. Purely personal preference. I'm not like a huge fan of a lot of darker kind of shimmers, and there's definitely, most of these are pretty dark, even though they have some lightness to them. We do have one like kind of inner corner highlight, but I do wish some of these were a little bit on the lighter side, just because that makes me less likely to gravitate towards this palette, because I'm going to feel a little bit restricted on the kinds of looks I can create. As for the satin shade, I really wish this just didn't have sparkles in it. It's very kick-uppy, and the sparkles just kind of fly away and everywhere, so I don't really see purpose in these kinds of shadows in general. As for the other mattes, I had just a little bit of kind of sticking down issues, and I think that's because Terra Moon's matte shadows tend to be definitely on the thinner side and a little bit more powdery, so there's usually quite a bit of kick up based on the previous matte shadows that I've tried from them. So it's not my favorite formula, but it's definitely like a very pigmented blendable formula, but I do feel like maybe not all eyeshadow primers work the best with it. So let me know in the comments below if you bought this palette, what do you think of it? I would love to hear your thoughts. And that's everything for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you next time.